Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Tao, and in today's more special supplemental episode, the last one of this set because I think everything I got everything. I think maybe not plus one. To having to deal with the anime giveaway. Now, again, as I said in the previous episodes, that we're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff that I'm gonna be just adding in at more or less at random, okay, into your boxes of stuff, that just to kind of add to that experience of getting some material from the past, pieces of history and that kind of stuff. But I also want to sort of explain a little bit about it, just so you get in that same sort of right mind and the sort of the right sort of thing. And then again, as you do more research to find out what the stuff is about, then you can then you'll get what you'll get more out of it. Okay. What I want to do here is just basically go over a couple of things and show and tell you about some of the stuff that may show up randomly into your boxes of stuff. And basically, I want you to kind of know why you kind of get this, and sort of know the background story behind it. Okay. So, in the topic of music and DVD and performance kind of stuff, the big part of anime was the fact that we had all this new music also with the anime, opening and theme songs. There's all these new artists and that stuff from Japan, which are very popular, and those are also very very important things about the anime. And the only way in this case that you could experience this is you had to more or less get a physical media version of the music. Okay, I mean, sure, even when I went to university and that kind of stuff, the big craze was Napster and MP3 trading and that kind of stuff. But that even with LimeWire and that kind of stuff, it was deathly slow to get anything. I mean, you could spend literally all night downloading a particular 3-minute song and finding out that the song is not even that song. It's been mislabeled or whatever, and it's not even real. It's not even the song you're looking for. Not to include that at that time, getting anything that was not quote like English or not really sort of really popular, at least even in the European scene or in that kind of scene, it was really impossible to get really anything else other than that kind of music, right? So even so, to find something Japanese would be just next to impossible. That way, you really had to basically get someone to physically make you a copy of it on tape of some sort, and then send it to you. So, I got a few examples of things that I've got. Like, so for example, I'm, as I said in my videos, that you can look into my previous history there, see what some of my favorite, Japanese artists are. Go into the index there and look that up. But think for example, I have a concert video for Shuzuka Kudo. Again, I had to get someone to make a copy of this and to give it to me, because again, getting stuff on concerts, even getting music videos, was really really difficult. Other than someone had to make you a copy of it and then mail it or send it to you in order to get a copy of it. Okay, so that's the only way you could watch something like that. Okay. Of course, the other way, you could do it is you could go and find like a video store or something that would have something like this. This is the Two Mix MTV movie, okay, and basically it's got a whole bunch of music videos from Two Mix. Obviously, they do Just Communication for Gundam Wing. They do the X Files, the Japanese version of the X Files. Insert a theme song there as well. They have a White Reflection on this, which is the animated music video for that one, which is pretty cool. So something like this, is what you would find in a store to get. Okay. The other big influence to me, and probably to a lot of people out there as well, is that a lot of the music and that kind of stuff also came from the Chinese community, okay, Hong Kong and that kind of stuff, because at this time, not so much mainland China, but like more island, Hong Kong and Taiwan and that kind of stuff. They in very many ways take a lot of the Japanese stuff in really readily, okay. And at this time, again, you referred back to my videos when I talk about the Vancouver FOBs and that kind of stuff. A lot of we're getting a lot of new immigrants from Hong Kong because of the potential Hong Kong takeover. in '98 that was going to go happen. So a lot of people were getting prepped up for that by moving and evacuating out of Hong Kong, and before that happened. So I met with a lot of people who are the FOBs and that kind of stuff, and unlike the usual refugees and that kind of stuff that get displaced due to war and conflict, these are the people that you actually want to be friends with, because these people had money. Generally speaking, these people were very affluent in the community, because they obviously, in order to do the immigration process from Hong Kong to another country, obviously you'd have to have money, you have to have power, you have to know your way around to kind of do your things, right? So so these people show up here, and all the times we were jealous of them, because they always had the nicest cars. I mean, I remember, even in high school, in high school and college, these are the people that would hardly ever show up for class. They didn't give a crap whether they passed or failed, but yet they're outside with their brand new whatever Lexuses and high end Mitsubishis and BMWs and that kind of stuff. And they'd have these $1,000 boom stereos in them, and you were jealous and you wanted to be with them, and just for that reason, right? And hang out and listen to their music. And said their as I said in the previous video, their music was a combination of Japanese music in there. They had the English influences coming from England and Europe, so they got all the the Italiano disco and the Euro dance and all that stuff they had. So that's how I got introduced into things like modern talking and all the Eurobeats, people and that kind of stuff from that. So things like CDs of Super Eurobeat were really, really valuable in that kind of stuff. Yeah, because this not only is it for a lot of us anime people, we were familiar with it because of the things like Dance Dance Revolution or Initial D or that kind of stuff. But this is long before those things came out. These were already popular. With things, people like modern talking, and whatnot. Those were the things that they were listening to. Also, they were also releasing a lot of. They had all these Asian music. Okay, and again, a lot of the stuff I only heard through like movies and that kind of stuff that my parents would play. But I mean, these people would be playing it all the time, and so this is really common to release CDs like this in where they just basically have a whole bunch of dance remixes and have some nice pretty girls on the front cover. Even they have nothing to do with the songs, but that's what sold the albums, right? And a whole bunch of these big sort of dance mixes like these and some things all the time. Some of the box, some famous singers and that kind of stuff are always very common. Sometimes they get really nice deluxe boxes like these ones, they have metal, things like that, and again, just various different songs, that kind of stuff. And I got this just helped me get into different music other than listening to what I normally was listening to 80s music and whatnot at this time. And all of a sudden now this is where I start shifting over to listening to more Asian music, not only just Chinese music but also a lot of the Japanese music, because that's what I was getting into anime. Again, this is the sort of the way that we kind of got into it, is that we had to we actually had to get physical media in order to listen to the songs that we like to hear. Okay. The last thing that I'm going to also include in your boxes and that kind of stuff is manga. Now, I mean, I don't mean just like regular issues of Dragon Quest. Although I do have a whole set of Dragon Quest here, which I'm going to probably break up and throw into your boxes as well. So if you're interested in like Dragon Ball artwork and of course video games, that kind of stuff, you may get a couple of these into your boxes as well. But I mean, the big thick manga type books, like for example something like this one. Okay. Now this particular manga is very significant because one of the feature artists in the manga that got its start, as you can see at the very top here, is Narumi Kakunochi. Okay. Now, the way that we found out about new artists and new animes and that kind of stuff sometimes is that we had to get these big thick mangas and whatnot to figure out and watch and see what new mangas and what sort of new stories are coming out. if you're wondering, Narumi Kakunochi is of course very famous for Vampire Princess Mew. Okay, she also makes this comic here, Moon Princess. Okay, which again, this is how I found out through this manga that you can get stuff like this. So again, I'm giving away this copy of this in one of the boxes as well. Okay. But that's not all. Like, I mean, that's one way that we found out about different kind of things and neat stuff like that. Other things that are really popular is something like this one. Okay, this is Dio, right? Okay, comic Dio, which is for example the Dengeki Dio, or PC Engine, Dio, the Dengeki PC Engine and that kind of stuff. Is really kind of cool. And I just want to point out so again, this one's again mostly dealt with stories about video games and that kind of stuff. Okay, and what's really neat about this one is, well, at least for me anyway, is if I just flip right here to this story right here. This has a graduation story in it. Okay, so and again, I played a lot of Graduation on the PC Engine, and this one I'll probably do a quick scan and do a run over translation of this one. But this is if anyone's played the game, it's basically you are a teacher and you control and have influence on 5 students in your class, and you basically can do different things to help them graduate and whatever. One of the things that happens in the story line during the day is that the school or your class has to put on a play. Okay, and one of the plays, of course, that they do is the story of Cinderella. Okay. And so basically, your duty as the teacher is you have to pick which 5 students become which roles in the movie or in the play. Okay, and so in this particular one, you can pick Raiko. It ends up being the head mother. Okay, the Jo-sama. Okay, of the story, right? And again, if you being the stuck up, a fluently rich sort of student, shall we say, if you get her into that mode, she'll turn into an S&M queen, and then she becomes so in that mood, right? And then if you pick her to be in the movie, the story changes a little bit in a funny way. So that's how this manga is basically. If you quickly see it here, they made her the mother, okay, and then they made the other girl, I guess you can say the more studious student one, the nerdy one, shall we say. They made her Cinderella, okay, and then they made the bubblehead girl. They made her the fairy goddess, or the fairy godmother, okay. The other nice thing about that one is it's also drawn by the manga artist. One of my favorite, the cream lemon part and mangas and that kind of stuff called Crocus, which is very loosely based on the Escalation series of Cream Lemon. So I really liked how he does this artwork for those type of things. He also does a King of Fighters manga as well. So so again, that's how I found out about that particular artist, and that's just with this particular issue. I mean, there's other issues that I'll get into. For example, like this one. Okay, so these are other types of comic magazines, and there are so many of them. I mean, I'll just to give you an indication. There are so many of them, and again, I'm just gonna throw these randomly into everyone's boxes, so there's no real quick order or anything, unless you really had to have something. But I mean, so they like. This is how I found out about different sort of animes and that kind of stuff. It's just because I just need to figure out, okay, let's just pick a copy of these up. They're not that expensive, generally speaking. 350 yen, so $4, $5, and they're all just filled with comics. So I mean, it's, and just and this is how I learned and found out about different titles, right? Because they also all have like big ordering sections, like example, mangas and that kind of stuff that are made by the artist and that kind of stuff, or by their publishing company, that you can get from them. Okay, but I picked up a couple just to show you. So those are all going to go, be randomly given to you guys, unless you want one specifically. But I'm going to give you some examples of some of the ones I got. So, for example, there's this one here. Has this particular artist in it. Okay. Okay. Move that here. Okay. And now this guy is Watanabe. Okay. And he draws his particular girls in a specific way. They're proportioned a specific way, and I really like that. So again, I always look for his kind of stuff. And by knowing his name and different sort of titles that he makes, then I was able to then later on, let's put this aside here and show you. And then later on, I was able to then go, okay. Now I know his name. Now I know how to get his stuff. So then basically I was able to order things like, this one here, named Exorcist Girl. He makes another magical girl show. You can kind of guess what part of the body he seems to draw very well, Here's another one called AV Idols. Okay. Kind of guess what sort of, what he draws there. There's a baseball one he does. Okay. And, there's another one that he does, yeah, okay. Let's focus on that, okay. There's a part one for AV Idols, okay. So, once I figure out what one artist does, it's, then it becomes really easy to find more of that is his kind of stuff. So again, I really liked his kind of work. Also, the other particular artist that is a particular note in this particular issue is this one here, okay. Now, I made in one of the Dojinshi episodes when I'm going through I think that's Dojinshi episode number 2. Where, this particular artist Yuri I, okay, he does a lot of really really nasty like Street Fighter slash the Dead or Alive doujinshis, okay, but this is his actual published one. It's a story called Royal Wraith, okay, and he draws certain characters a certain way. I don't know if I can show one here. Well, does hint that he's in here, not doing that kind of stuff there. So that's an issue of that one there. But that's how I find out artists and that kind of stuff. Okay, there's something like this one here. Okay. This manga is pretty significant because of this particular character, and I'll see if I kind of show this one here. This is the start of the manga artist Wingbird, okay, and again in the U.S. they actually released a comic by Roddick, okay, one of the independents, during the boom of Japanese animation, during the boom years of anime, they released a comic called Wingbird, okay, and it's produced by the comic book company Roddick, and so that's some of the mangas and that kind of stuff that they imported over and translated in English into comic book form here. This is where he got some of his start there. Okay, there's something like this one, okay. Now this one, just like a lot of all the other sort of magazines and that kind of stuff, you can read the little fine notes and that kind of stuff. And this one has a particular nice one because this one has a poster from Inoue Takuya, okay? Now this guy, I already said in my Dojinshi episode, he does a lot of Street Fighter and Fatal Fury Dojinshis, okay? So again, look up his name when you do that. And again, there's a special poster for him in this magazine there. Now this is an interesting. Okay, so there's something like this one here. I pulled this one out because it's just interesting because it's right at the very, very back of it. Okay, and it's really hard to kind of tell, but I'll just kind of maybe just kind of put a block like that over it. And it has a discussion about adult anime, and what's really funny is because it actually has Twin Angels and Rayland Orchid Emblem, right? Two very early titles by 80 Vision. Okay, but what's neat about them is kind of funny is that they took screenshots of the English subtitled version of Rayland, for example, and they put them into this magazine. So it's kind of funny that the Japanese magazine is reviewing Japanese anime that's been translated in English by a North American market back into the thing. So it's kind of a funny thing but again, that's something that these magazines can do. Okay. And the last one, I'll just do one more here. Last one is again Dio. Okay, I really like this magazine because it's not really hentai, but it really does. For example, show a lot of video games. So here's a big ad right in the back for Langreaser Millennium. Again, I'm a really big fan of Langreaser, and I'm playing that game right now. But so in this particular issue, it has a lot of really cool stuff. Okay. One of the things is that the mangas that are in here, for example, is this one here. Okay, it's the manga for D4 Princess. Okay, so again, we subtitled all the episodes, all 12 episodes of the D4 Princess, and I also have the fan sub tape available in this giveaway. So here is where the manga for D4 Princess originates for in here. So you can kind of look at what that's worth. So that's a good start there. The other thing is, you may notice when they put the ad right at the very bottom here, okay, they have a special poster drawn by Satoshi Ushihara, i.e. the person who does the artwork for Langreaser. Okay, not Langreaser Millennium, but Langreaser. So again, you flip into the middle here, and then you see, indeed, they have a nice big poster layout there. They also have another one on the other side for, there you go. Just so you have stuff there. Okay, so so these things also have lots of that kind of stuff in there. The other one thing that the other thing I'll mention, just because it's there, and I won't show this particular page, but I'll maybe show the next page. Yeah, next page. This magazine also has the manga for Anal Man. Okay, now again, I mentioned it before because I said I've already in my channel. If you check the index, I did a quick run through two doujinshis that he does for Gundam, the Neo Geo high school or school for non-new types. He did a pretty funny story of that. Maybe later on, I know I have a Hikaru no Go doujinshi done by this guy. And of course, he didn't call it Hikaru no Go, he called it Anal no Go. And so, you can kind of guess what happens, what they do with the balls, right? Okay, so, anyway, so, so the concept behind this one, and surprisingly, with such a funny name, it's not a hentai, okay? It just sort of is. So basically, it's based off of, your Power Rangers type of weird type, Ranger superhero type shows. Except the only difference is, in order for Anal Man to get his powers, it's basically the alien or whatever, if you will, basically has to encase and cover the person, and that will give him his powers. That will give him his invulnerability, right? But he can't wear this encasing, this coating all the time. So when he doesn't want to be, shall I say, in hero form or whatever, the alien has to, recombine itself and then enter and hide himself inside the person's body. So of all the, openings into the human body, well, you can kind of guess which one they decided to choose. So, you can kind of guess that's why they call it that. All right, so. So that Dio is one of these really great places that they put these kind of cool stuff in it. Okay, so and that's how we find these little these little gems of stories and that kind of stuff is in these little things here. Okay, and again, I'll be giving these kind of magazines and that kind of stuff, and I got a whole boxes of this kind of stuff because at the price point they were, and and usually when they get cheap. They sell them at half price because the next issue already comes out, so they're really inexpensive to get. and they're very, very valuable when you can pick them up. As I said, because they're just a great resource for just finding out what is new, what's coming out, ordering information, things like that, all in these type of magazines, and they're really easy to get for a relatively inexpensive price. Okay, anyway, but again, those things will be given on to your boxes and whatnot as random as I can. Okay, so that's what all I wanted to cover in this particular thing. Again, you're going to getting lots of this kind of random assortment of stuff in your boxes. I'll get more into the actual details in the next episode, because now that I think I've given enough time for all the first time people who have who have supported me and actually gone through and did the first giveaway. I give them plenty of chance to have their say. So now anyone this is your last chance to put your thing in. If not, then everyone else that has that has said something in the comments and that kind of stuff will be written in and put into that, and I'll post that in the next few days and that kind of stuff. I'll post that up, and then I'll actually give you the instructions in the next video, probably this weekend or whatever, when I put up the next regular episode. Okay, so more to come and more instructions out. All right, so stay tuned for that. Until the next episode. Okay, see you again.